the preseason tip-off show for Villanova Basketball 24-25. I'm Steve Pinone. I'm joined by Whitey Rigsby. Whitey, the Wildcats get ready for another year of Villanova Basketball, led by Eric Dixon and Jordan Longino, the kind of two returning guys. Give me your thoughts on those two guys.
Yeah, well, it's always an exciting time of year, preseason, get ready for the first game, 3 games in the first week. It's going to be really exciting. I think having Eric Dixon come back was really, really important for this program. He's a true Villanova guy, a graduate senior, will be the most important cog on this team. He'll have to score, he'll have to rebound, probably play a little bit more of the 4 spot this year than the 5.
Yeah, first team All Big East selection, but Jordan Longino, the other kind of veteran on this roster, finally healthy, had an off season to prepare, had a really good exhibition game. What are your thoughts on Jordan?
Yeah, he seems really healthy, which is most important. In his case, we know what he can do. I think the game against Robert Morris, that preseason game, is the best I've ever seen him play. Not just numbers, but just the whole way he played. I think being in a leadership role, which he is this year, is really going to help that young man out on the floor.
And Kyle Neptune's going to be counting on those two guys for sure. Really important pieces to this team this year. Whitey had a chance to catch up with Eric Dixon.
Joined by Eric Dixon here for part of our preseason show. And Eric, first of all, congratulations on coming back. Congratulations on a great season last year. Congratulations on being captain of the basketball team.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. For my 6th year, I'm back home. It feels good.
Now, being a leader on this team is nothing new to you. You certainly have been a leader in the past on your high school teams, but also on this team last year. You were a valuable leader on this team. Has it changed at all since you're a senior upperclassman now?
I think it's just changed because of the guys that we have. We have a younger team, a lot younger team than we had last year, and I think just showing up every day and being somebody those guys can look to is important.
How difficult is having so many new players each year, just as far as, I think, things like drills that you know, back in your mind, easy. Other kids have to learn them.
Yeah, I think it's just a reminder to come in every single day and to be that example. Like I said, a lot of young guys trying to figure out things I've been doing for 5 and 6 years now. So, for me, just coming and being an example, it's a good reminder.
What do you think is most important for this team to do as far as getting out of the gate?
I think just playing together and being together. I think we have a really strong team. And I think we all understand that we need each other to be successful.
Now, is it difficult? You say playing together. In other words, you have 8 or 9 or 10 new guys. Is it how quickly can you come together as a team?
We do a great job of finding the right kind of guys, right? We got great guys from great backgrounds, and I just want to win and be a part of something special.
What's one thing you want to do this accomplish before the season's out?
I think just getting these guys to understand how special a place this is.
Thanks, Eric, so much. Have a great season. Looking forward to it.
Thank you very much.
Great to catch up with Eric, Steve. Key component to this year's team, for sure.
No doubt about it, Whitey. But college basketball nowadays, every roster turns over every year. A lot of new faces for this team. Let's start in the backcourt with probably one of the key cogs of this team is going to be Jameer Brickus.
Yeah, Brickus is a very talented, experienced, mature point guard. I mean, he's a point guard not just because he's 5'10". He's a point guard because that's what he does. We saw the other night in the first preseason game, the scrimmage, he had 10 assists, just 1 turnover. I'll take that every game. That'd be wonderful, wouldn't it? He's a much better shooter than we saw. He's a guy who can make threes for sure.
And one of his backcourt running mates is going to be the Miami transfer. This guy's got a lot of experience, played in the Final Four. WRA Popper coming over from Miami. What do you expect to see from him?
Yeah, he played for Jim Laranaga's team as a sophomore. He started in the Final Four, period. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good resume right off the top. I think Wooger's a guy who can just play basketball. There's no one thing he does great. There's no one thing he does bad. He can play. He will be a key component on this team. I think he can score, he can get out in transition, and I'm sure he can defend as well.
And one of the key differences this year, I think, compared to last year's teams, the Wildcats now have a solid five-man in Imak Bakchi going to play inside against bigger, stronger players. It moves Eric Dixon out to the 4, where he can be a little bit more versatile and get that 3-point shot off.
Yeah, we've talked a lot on the air and off the air about the fact that Villanova hasn't had a rim protector, a true rim protector, since Daniel Cheffer. It's been a long time. This kid, Enoch, is a rim protector for sure. Again, referencing back to that scrimmage, one time he chased the player down 80 feet to make a great block shot in transition. He catches the ball well. He has very good hands in and around the basket, and we saw him make some really good decisions with the ball when he caught it, which big guys don't always do.
And one last transfer, Tyler Perkins comes over from Penn, so the local product. Played 1 year at Penn, so 3 years of eligibility here with the Wildcats. A versatile wing player.
Yeah, he is, and he can play. He probably can play on the ball as well, play on the wing. And what I like most about this kid is he's really, really competitive. Supposedly in practice, you want to be on his team in practice because he always wins. So I think he's a true Villanova type player. Young still, only a sophomore, has some experience. He played a lot at Penn. He would probably be coming off the bench. He'll be a good asset to this team when he comes in the game.
And Kyle Neptune brought in a really good freshman class, probably led by Josiah Mosley out of Texas. What did you like when you saw about him this year?
Well, Mosley had a very athletic play in the game, follow-up dunk on the side court there. He's very good, athletic, player of the year in the state of Texas. Pretty big state, Steve. I know you don't know your geography that well, but very big state. He's a good player. He's going to probably come off the bench, get minutes. Matt Hodge, who played for our old friend Brian Lynch, will come off the bench and get some minutes. Two very talented freshmen. I think both will be involved in rotation.
And Malcolm Thomas gives them some depth inside. Very athletic player inside.
Yeah, by far the most athletic player on this team. Long, athletic, long wings. His father, Eton Thomas, was a great player at Syracuse a few years back.
I had a chance to catch up with Wooga Poplar. Joined by Wooga Poplar. Wooga, I want to talk to you a little bit about you played in the ACC. You decided to come to Villanova. What part did the Big East play in that decision?
It played a big part. I just like how physical it is. I mean, as you can see, we compete every day. It's very hard. Like, practice way more intense. I don't know. It's just something about the Big East that I just wanted to. I feel like it's just going to better me as a person.
And obviously the opportunity to come home as well, being a Philadelphia guy.
Of course.
Obviously see a lot of the Big East on TV, going to the Garden at the Big East tournament, had to play a big part as well.
I'd say playing at the Garden, it was like a real big stadium, so like I could see the people from like the glass backward, so it was kind of weird a little bit. But after that, I got like a little. Once you see your first shot going in, I mean, as a shooter, you get that little feel of you. But it was good.
As you guys get ready to start your season, what are your thoughts of your teammates? What's your goals and aspirations for this year?
Just playing hard, playing together, and playing 40 minutes of Villanova basketball, really. I'm just, as you can see, I transfer here, so I'm just trying to learn and soak up as much as I can.
Well, we appreciate your time.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Oh, no.
Appreciate Wooga's thoughts on the season. A couple other young guys we didn't talk about. Chris Parker, the transfer from Alabama, outstanding player, long, athletic, can do a lot on the floor.
Yeah, he's very athletic, and I mean they list him at 6'9". I'm not sure he's that tall, but I watched him shoot alone in the gym. Very good shooter, long wing player, and also for a big guy, very good with the basketball. And I'm sure he can defend at that length.
And the other one is a young man from Bulgaria that came over this summer, Sash Gavolyagov. I got that one right. Backup point guard. He's going to do a good job. Kind of going to run the team, kind of manage the game for you.
Yeah, again, he looks very youthful looking. Is Sasha, is what I call him. But talented kid, talented guard, 6'2", can shoot the ball. Also can run the team in a pinch if we need him out there.
And now, what we talk about every year, the Big East. Probably the best basketball conference, top to bottom in the country. Some guys in the Big 12 may argue it's the Big 12, but the Big East has been there every year. Last two national championships go to the UConn Huskies. Let's talk a little bit about the conference. Let's start with the Huskies because they're pricked first for a reason.
Yeah, and there's no question this is the best basketball conference in the country and has been for a long time now. 4 national championships since 2016, so no one can question this is the best basketball conference. UConn Huskies once again unanimously picked to be the #1 team in this league. They'll be very, very good, led by Alex Caravan, who's a terrific player, returning starter, 13 a game last year for Danny Hurley's Huskies.
Yeah, all he's done is been there 2 years and win 2 national championships, so it's pretty good. But now the next grouping is, you can have some discussions if you're sitting around at the bar and you want to talk who's second, who's third, who's fourth. Let's start with Marquette and Cam Jones. They were in the finals of the Big East tournament last year against UConn. Cam Jones is a first-team All-League player.
Cam Jones is a terrific player. They lost a lot of that team.
Yeah.
I think Tyler Kolek, who was a player of the year in the league, deserved to be. He was a really solid point guard playing with the Nova Knicks now, I might add. And also Iguodala, they lost to the NBA, and he was drafted. He's playing the NBA now as well.
Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, they'll be very good this year. But I think Cam Jones, Stevie Mitchell, some good returning plays. Shaka Smart does a great job.
Yeah, and I think a team that might be a little bit underappreciated because they didn't realize the injuries they suffered last year is Xavier with Zach Fremantle coming back. We saw him have a big game here in the Pavilion 2 years ago when he was healthy.
Yeah, they're picked third. That's probably right. Maybe they could sneak into being second. We didn't talk about Creighton with Kalkbrenner coming back too. But I think Fremantle and Hunter coming back really helps that club out there in Cincinnati.
This is an interesting dynamic. I don't think I've ever seen this in the preseason rankings. Kalkbrenner is the player of the year in the Big East, and he was not voted to the first team All-League. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Because they don't vote him in first team. He's player of the year. That's just considered. He wasn't voted second team or third team.
Yeah.
He's the player of the year, Ryan Kalkbrenner, and he's been the defensive player of the year the last 2 years.
I think it might be 3
years. I mean, he's a tremendous player, long player. It'll be interesting for Villanova this year because over these past couple of years, he's guarded Dixon, and Dixon's guarded him. Well, now you're gonna have Bocce involved. That'd be a different dynamic when we play them.
And one of the things that you see nowadays is the transfer. So you got interconference transfer. So Kadari Richmond, who spent his time at Seton Hall, is transferred over to St. John's to play for Rick Pitino.
Yeah, and I don't like that. I don't like anything about that. Kadari Richmond is just a terrific player, one of the leading scorers in the league last year, leading returning scorers. I think he will be a very good player for Rick Pitino, who's a terrific coach there in Jamaica. They don't have a lot of returning players. They're picked in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, now Chris Holtman goes to the DePaul program that's struggled over the years. He gives them a guy that's won in the Big East before. He won at Ohio State, so probably a big upgrade for DePaul.
Yeah, and if you look at the coaches, Steve, not just getting away from DePaul, but I think this league is better top to bottom. Because I think all the teams have improved. Chris Holtman's a terrific coach, and you look at the coaches that are coaching in this league from top to bottom. I'm not sure there's another league that has a better array of coaches as the Big East does right now.
Whitey had a chance to catch up with Jordan Longino to get his thoughts on the Big East.
Joined by Jordan Longino here as we're getting ready to start this season. Jordan, first of all, first and foremost, how's your health?
Feeling really good, feeling 100% going into the year.
I thought your game against Robert Morris, the best game I've seen you play. I thought you were absolutely terrific. How do you keep that up all season long?
Just trying to stay consistent. Obviously, like you talked about earlier, the health, is key. Being able to sustain my health, throughout the whole year. But honestly, I'm just going out there to do whatever my coach and teammates need me to do, whether that's play make, whether that's score, whether that's rebound, whether that's play defense. I'm just trying to be a leader on the court and just do whatever is asked of me.
You say leader on the court. How important is that to you, the fact that you're a captain of the team, a leader on this team? A lot of people are going to follow your lead.
Absolutely. No, it's very important. I think it's something that me and Eric, when he decided to come back, in the offseason, something we talked about, being the only two guys that kind of come back, that have kind of played in the Villanova Basketball, jersey. That leadership role is important, and we've been growing, since early June, and, now going into our first game. I think we're ready. Obviously, it's a long season, so, it's going to take some improvement and, some reps out there, in these games, but I think me and Eric are in a good spot, to lead this team.
So, and you're leading a team of a lot of new guys. Yeah. Like, when Colin Gillespie was here as a leader, the same team. When Archie Jackson was here as a leader, the same team. Brunson, the same way. You're leading a team of 9 or 10 brand new guys. Harder?
I don't know about harder. I just think, luckily we're not the only, college basketball team in the situation. There's a lot of teams that also, have, a bunch of new guys. But for us, the way the coaches kind of recruited, we brought in, Wooga, Jig, local guys who have that kind of Villanova mentality already come in. Then we have, a cast of, a full class of freshmen that come in with excitement and energy, and they bought in, from day one. So they've made our job easier, honestly. So for me and Eric, it's been, a smooth transition into kind of preaching what Villanova basketball is to these new guys.
After being here so long, what's the most important thing that you can impart on these freshmen?
Just buy in. I think at times, coming in as a freshman through the summer, through the fall, leading into the season, there's a lot of, times in practice where you feel like, what am I doing out here? Diving for loose balls, taking charges, whether it's, playing harder than I've ever played before. But just buying in and trusting, in leadership and trusting the coaches, that by the time it gets to the end of the year, you'll have the reps and you'll have the, in practice reps that will help you in the games.
Best of luck this season. Thanks for spending some time with us, pal.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Always great catching up with Jordan Longino. Steve, and the thing about Jordan Longino, the most important thing he does is be on the court this year. They need him to stay healthy because the schedule, as always for the Wildcats, is going to be difficult throughout the season.
Yeah, in the first week of the season, there's 3 games right here in the Pavilion. They'll open up with Lafayette, and then Columbia, and then NJIT Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
I don't remember having 3 games in the first week of the season like that.
No, it really is. And then it only gets more demanding because they have to go on the road to St. Joseph's. Then you have the game with Virginia down in Baltimore. So it's a challenging schedule, non-conference-wise. You look at Virginia, which I talked about, the Cincinnati game here in the Pavilion, and then they'll have a neutral site game against Maryland up in Newark.
Yeah, it's a tough schedule. But this team seems to have a lot of guys, a lot of dudes who can go out there and play. 1 through 10. We're not even sure who 6 through 10 are right now. So they have a lot of players I think can fill in very well. They seem, knock on wood, very healthy right now. Hopefully they stay that way.
And it's a great schedule breakdown. They got 4 games down at the Wells Fargo Center as well, starting after the new year. So it should be an exciting season once again. Challenging schedule. Where do you think the Wildcats need to go? What are the goals for this team? Well,
I think they need to get through the preseason schedule better than they did last year. And we were down in the Bahamas last year. They had 3 great wins, then had some tough losses back here. I think they need to, as they say in football, you need to beat the teams you're supposed to beat and win half of the other games maybe, right? So I think they need to they lose a game or 2 preseason, that's one thing, because the league schedule is going to be very challenging. You go on the road in this league, it's really going to be difficult.
Yeah, and that just really, I think, builds confidence, really sets you up for your league schedule where you're going to have opportunities to knock off top 25 teams to get those quality wins you want at the end of the season.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When the NCAA tournament, they look at the field, they see who'd you beat. Well, Villanova has a chance to beat some good teams. Now, they also have a chance to lose some really good teams too, but they have a chance to make up some ground when they get on the road.
Follow us all season long on Villanova Basketball social media. And join Whitey and me live after every home game on the Villanova postgame show presented by Hartford Funds. Looking forward to a great year. Go Cats!